Our greatest successes in life are often found in helping others succeed. Welcome to the Life Masters Podcast, hosted by Tanya Memme. Discover real-life stories from mentors, leaders, experts, and everyday people who devote their lives to helping others succeed. Every episode takes you on a unique journey, an emotional experience, and tells a story never to be forgotten. Tune in to Life Masters with Tanya Memme and start fast-tracking your journey to success today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Masters. I'm Tanya Memme, and today I love this. I have Adelle Archer on the show, and she is an incredible entrepreneur. Okay, let's just start off by saying that she was Inc. and Forbes 30 under 30. I mean, how does that happen? That's amazing. She's the CEO of Eternova. And you were on Shark Tank, and you got funding from Mark Cuban. We totally have to talk about all that. And of course, now you're a public speaker. You inspire so many people. You're the CEO of Eternova. And so so many questions, but I want to start off with, this is the quarantine series of Life Masters. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you're the first person under 30 that I've interviewed. And I mean, what has it been like for you in this time in your life, and how has quarantine been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an experience. I think it definitely, it gives you an opportunity to kind of, work on resilience. Because I think certainly what I'm seeing as, the founder of a company and, wanting to make sure that I'm checking in with my team and how all of them are doing is you're just seeing this pattern of people having really good weeks and then really tough weeks. And so we're all kind of riding a little bit of that roller coaster. And so I think it's just knowing that it's okay to be on that ride. And, it's kind of to be expected. We are going through so much change right now, collectively.
So much.
I just think that that's a crazy thing to even think about, is like literally everyone in the world is in this together right now.
Yeah.
And so there's some solidarity in that. But, I think self-care is so important, and, not getting caught up in fear and just taking everything day by day and, just doing your best, because, we're all co-managing this.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that some people have it harder than others,
100%.
People that are living paycheck to paycheck that just lost their jobs, or people that have had family members, pass because of this. It's really tough. But what would you say to people out there that have just lost their job and they are looking into becoming an entrepreneur because they have to? I mean, you did it, and not under quarantine, and right now there's a lot of stress going on too. So what's some information or words that you can help them with and help me with too?
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably one of my favorite quotes that I always re-anchor myself on is, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And so anytime there's hardship in your life, there's an opportunity to kind of look at, is there something potentially here, that life potentially might be happening for me. And I know certainly 2008, you go and you listen to the CEO of Shopify, they said that their business exploded because of the recession. And it was so many people who did lose their jobs and then decided, you know what, I'm going to go finally pursue my dream, because what do I have to lose right now? And they went and they did it, and they started a company, and, just really kind of took ownership over something that they had always wanted to do. And so, it doesn't take away from the difficulty of what we're all experiencing and just the stress of what we're going through, but potentially life might be happening for you right now too.
That's very true. And being aware of that and being open to it and really seeing what opportunities you can. I think it's hard for people, especially the older generation, that haven't quite shifted or accepted the online situation, whether it's, and shifting their body, their company online. And I think it's very intimidating for them. Where would you say that someone who knows nothing about computers really, I mean, we all know a little bit, but you know what I mean? It's they have a dry cleaning business and it's going under right now, and they need to shift it online. What do you say to people like that?
Yeah. Well, and we're seeing that so much in our industry. So, at Eternova, what we do is we celebrate really special people, when they pass away, by making diamonds from their ashes. So we're pretty much very entrenched in, the death care space and modernizing it and making it, something that can be bright and celebratory. But we partner a lot with the funeral industry, and that's a pretty, I would say, analog industry that did everything offline. There was not a lot of online component. And so they're needing to completely change their business model overnight and move everything online. And, you know, what I think, like, the call to us as younger people in this industry is like, how can we help, you know? And so we're really jumping to, you know, just help anybody with that transition to an online medium. But I do think it's a mindset, you know, thing is in a time of change and difficulty, is can you adapt? You know, what can you decide to be open to that maybe historically you hadn't been, or, you know, how do you change your business model? Like, you see the restaurants that are, you know, choosing to do takeout and, you know, put make themselves more widely out there and do margarita kits, and it's like, you know, there's so much respect for the nimbleness that they're exhibiting, and I think that that's what it takes to kind of ride through a challenging time right now.
Yeah, you know, there's a local grocery store here. It's not even a grocery store, it's a breakfast place, and like a little deli, and they're now selling groceries. They're selling produce, and I go there once a week. And we know the owner now. I've established these really awesome relationships with people I didn't even know before. I was visiting these places, but I didn't know the owners. And so there's like these little gems that you can find during these times too. But, yeah, I want to talk about Eternova. I mean, especially now. And first of all, how did the idea of taking people's ashes and turning them to diamonds even come about for you? What was your journey to getting to that?
Yeah, I mean, such a crazy, you know, you never anticipate that this is what you're going to do, you know.
Right. I've never even heard of this before I read about your company. So
when you're asked as like a 13-year-old what you're going to be when you grow up, like, did not see this one coming. But I think what is really special about it is it came out of a very personal, you know, experience in my life. So you know, originally what we were doing was we were starting a regular lab-grown diamond company, you know, just purely an entrepreneur business person that's like,
diamond company,
just a diamond company.
Okay. I mean, at your age, I'm shocked because I don't know anyone your age that, let's just start a diamond company. Did you have an attachment to, I mean, don't we all, but like, did you have an attachment to diamonds? Is that?
Not necessarily. So I was in tech previously. I have my MBA in entrepreneurship, and then I went into technology for a few years.
Nice.
And then a friend of mine, his father was involved with this lab-grown diamond company. So they're growing diamonds above ground in a laboratory. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And like, they were growing diamonds mostly for industrial applications. And they wanted to get to the consumer market, but they didn't know how to build a brand around that. And I was in technology marketing at the time, and was like, well, gosh, I mean, I could probably help you with that. You know, so that's really what got us looking into this space and saying, you know, fascinating, like, this technology is amazing. It's very up and coming. So that
your dad's involved. Like, I love that he's all involved too, you know?
Yeah. And so, it was kind of like, okay, let's just take a step back. Let's look at, you know, does it make sense to start this company, or do we want to go somewhere else within, you know, this industry, up the supply chain? So as we were doing this kind of whole analysis, I actually had my very close friend and my business mentor get diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she passed away. And Tracy was just like, you know, to call her a mentor is just not doing her full justice. She was just an extraordinary human that, for sure, I'm a different person because of her involvement in my life. And so I think when you lose somebody really special and remarkable like that, you know, you just feel a personal responsibility to make sure that they're not forgotten, and that you really do everything you can to honor them. And so she left some of her ashes to 4 of us, you know, that were kind of her closest people, because she wasn't married, didn't have kids, and just left us a note that was like, go do something meaningful that you think both of us would really like. So on a totally personal side of my life, I was trying to figure out, like, how could I honor Tracy? What could I do with ashes? So it was really a remarkable evening one night when we were sitting with the diamond scientist over dinner, and he just mentions this application to me. He was like, yeah, I mean, there's a company that is extracting the carbon from cremated remains and growing real diamonds from that carbon source. And just blew me away. I'm like, holy cow, I have ashes and I've been trying to figure out how to honor my friend. Like, that is perfect. And so I went to go start the process, and it just wasn't the experience that I wanted and was expecting. You know, I was hoping to, you know, be met with questions about who Tracy was and how we were going to honor her life. And, instead it was just very transactional and not transparent. And, we kind of took a step back and we're like, gosh, I mean, no wonder nobody's heard about this, like this is just such a special, amazing way to do this. And it just feels like it's not being executed on properly. And I think we could do this a whole lot better. And so that
I've never heard of it before, really.
That's right. Yeah.
So isn't that interesting that you've known about it for how many years now?
Yeah, probably 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's been around, and it's, I have heard about it through your company, but I've never heard about it before that.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that was really, she was our first diamond. This is actually her black diamond.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Can you pick the color diamond?
What's that?
Can you pick the color diamond?
Yep. This is my grandma's yellow diamond.
Okay. This is awesome. This is amazing. Oh my goodness. Is it really expensive for people to do? Is it really expensive?
No, it's actually like crazy approachable. So our entry point's at $3,000. And when you compare that to the cost, if you were to, choose to do a full burial service, everything, average cost is like $10,000 to $15,000. If you did a cremation and a diamond, you could pay half that. And have something that's really special that, it's bright and positive and you can have with you every single day. And we really what's special is we've really created a whole experience around the diamond creation process that ends up being
an example of that. Okay, so what's it like? Let's say I have somebody that can you do it for pets too?
Absolutely. Yep. About 40% of our loved ones are pets. Yeah.
Okay. You got a customer right here. My cat passed away in October, and he was the love of my life. I mean, non-human form.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. So what would that be like? I want to take the ashes from my pet Cartman that I love so much, which I have. And so what would that be like for me?
Yeah. So the first step, somebody will go on our site and they'll order a welcome kit. And then in that kit is everything they need to package up half a cup of ashes. So it's a really small amount. And then they can pick out their diamond. And we personalize everything. I mean, we're very at every single step of the process, we are getting to know you. We are getting to know your loved one. And one of the first conversations you have with us is we're going to ask all about them. I'll ask all about Carmen and be like, give me the good stories. Give me a sense of his personality. I want to hear what that relationship was like, because we're going to help you really celebrate that and memorialize that. And so
you put energy into it. It's a very energetic thing too. Right?
100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
To start the process, I mean, that's one of the first things we do. We get on Instagram and Facebook Live with our customers' permission, and we tell their loved one's story to the world,
Oh, this
and
is
so
great.
people come in and, they listen to their story, and then we have dedication pages. So it's got their picture, their inauguration video, and then all the diamond updates every single month. It's about a 7-month process, super intricate, and every single month we're sharing pictures and videos and updates, and it's telling the story of their journey to this beautiful transformation. And first when you lose somebody that was the most important relationship in your life, you oftentimes are faced with an environment where you have nothing to look forward to and nobody knows how to engage with you, and it's kind of an awkward
it is. I'm the worst at it. I never know what to say to my friends when they've lost a mom or dad. I'm horrible with it.
It's tough. I mean, we don't have good, I would say we just don't have good rituals for it. And so I think that's what's very special about this, is it gives kind of a reason for a community to rally together and have something to talk about that's comfortable and celebratory, and, really help that family feel supported, that their loved one continues to be talked about beyond a one and done funeral. So I think, that ends up being a very healing process for people. And, we've really learned our company is really in the business of grief wellness. This is really about helping someone have kind of a bright and uplifting experience to lean into in the wake of a loss, and keep their loved one's story alive and end up in a better place at the end of it.
Oh my God. I love it. And I love the fact that you share all these stories on social media. So if you guys are listening to this, go, and it's what's the social media handle? Just so I know how to spell it and everything, because I don't want to be the one to mess it up.
It's Eterneva. So ETERNE, as in Victor A. And on our social media, it's all about storytelling. And And our broader mission is really to change a culture around death, grief, and remembrance, and just to open this conversation up, because I think what we're doing culturally right now, a great job of the Headspaces, the Calms, like they've opened up conversations around grief and anxiety and like harder topics that we used to bury. And so I think that grief is really just the next frontier of that. You know, we all want to be supported on a grieving journey. We want to talk about our loved ones. We want to find ways to keep their story alive. And so we're just humbled to get to help facilitate that.
Wow. That's amazing. I just love that you have done this. And so what was it like? Okay, well, first of all, you started this company how many years ago?
We started, we launched Q4 2017, but then had been moonlighting while still working at another job for a while.
Wow. And then, well, that's the best way to do it from what I've from all the entrepreneurs that are very successful. Do not just quit everything and go. Right. And then how did Shark Tank come about?
Yeah. So Shark Tank, they reached out to us actually, which was really cool. I know. Yeah. And so, you know, and I think to your point, like most people just don't even realize that this is an option. And so what's really, you know, and so that's what was really special about being on it, is just knowing that like you're reaching so many people, you know, and sharing that there are other options out there to honor and celebrate your loved ones. And so I think, and we were the first memorial product actually ever on Shark Tank. So that just feels really special. Like, you know, it's all goes back to the mission of, you know, opening up a conversation that wasn't being had before. So that was awesome. And, you know, super excited to have Mark on board. Like that was just a really great experience. And
yeah. So what was that moment like? Like Mark Cuban's like, yes, you win it through him and he's invests so much money. And then I always wonder, what are the next steps after that?
Yeah. Well, you go through due diligence and, you know, it's like it is a full kind of investor process where they'll do due diligence and you kind of go back and forth on, you know, more terms than what you're just headline kind of talking about on the show. But yeah, I mean, as long as everything checks out, then they proceed forward with the investment. And
do you meet him in person? Does he show up at your company, him in person? Do you have a relationship with him after that?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to him quite a bit. You know, he's very, very busy, you know, from a day-to-day schedule standpoint, but he's incredibly responsive. He and I email back and forth all the time. He loves email. He's the most remarkable emailer I've ever seen. He responds to everything within 20 minutes. Like,
how do people keep their emails organized?
I don't think it blows my mind.
Yeah, I cannot get a grasp on my emails. I can't keep them organized.
Me either, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Impressive.
Amazing. But you know, people like that and people like yourself too, you guys have skills like that. You know, I bet you you get back to people too. You do. I've been emailing with you and you're really good with it. So
well, thank you. Thank you. Working on it.
Wow. So then that happens. And what would you say is probably one of the most difficult challenges of becoming an entrepreneur? And so you find a niche. They always say like find a need in the market. Mm-hmm. And then build upon that.
Yeah.
Like, what would be your advice as far as people that, wow, I have no idea what direction to go into, I want to start something new. What are some of the first steps they can do to even find a niche or get started?
It's a great question. I mean, you know, it is hard. I'm not going to lie. Like it's one of those things that this kind of, I feel like was brought into my life. And I had gotten my MBA in entrepreneurship in 2013. And then I went into tech and I was kind of side hustling on a bunch of stuff. And, you know, I think it's actually like the best advice I can give is be patient, you know, because when you start a company, like you are signing up for 5 to 10 years of your life. And you just don't want that to be wasted on the wrong idea that like didn't really meet a true need that, you know, is going to end up being really hard to scale or, you know, that, yeah, like you want to make sure that a lot of boxes are checked. I'm serving an intense need. There's a great market opportunity. I can, you know, create barriers to entry and, you know, the unit economics are great and blah, 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 blah. So I think patience is actually like one of the first things I would say. But then I would also really recommend like get really close to your customer. You know, I think learning from your customer, like what they really want and need.
Yeah.
You know, even today, like we have a ritual that every single year end of Q4, we do a customer feedback tour. And I spent 25 hours in Q4 just sitting with my customers and like hearing their perspective on like, how was your experience? What could we do to blow your mind? Like, let me show you a few things we're working on. What do you think? Like, tell me more about your grieving journey, and like listening for ways we could add value. Saying, we have this idea. What do you think? We have a customer advisory board that we'll share things with, preview things with, and be like, beat this up. What do you think? Like, give us better feedback. And, all like everything we do is really guided by them. And I think it's hard to miss the mark when your customer is really, is where you're finding all of your next ideas and sources.
Yeah, totally. Now, was that something that Mark Cuban introduced you to doing, or is that something that you just innately decided to do?
That was actually something that was really well ingrained in my MBA program. We just knowing your customer inside and out. And then I became a product marketer, and in product marketing, a lot of customer interviews are kind of a part of that exercise. And I think it's just important if you're trying to do messaging and positioning and, anything, like you need to be in your customer's mindset, and, speak their language and meet their needs. So yeah, I think it's just a good practice.
What's amazing is right now I find, where there's a lot of talk about vulnerability and tell your story and know your why and all that. And it's interesting. Somebody from my generation is, we were raised where everything had to be perfect and every ad had to be perfect, and you hide behind your brand. You really do. Like sometimes you don't even know who the owners of the companies are. It's just flashy brands, and that used to work. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how it so doesn't work anymore. I mean, it does for some, but not really. And you've taken it to the point where you're actually, those walls are so down that you're asking the customer, what do we do next? Like that's a huge lesson for people, especially my generation that are going through quarantine, that have lost their jobs and have no idea what to do. Like, and even start there. Like what do you think about somebody even going on their Instagram or social media saying, hey, how do you see me as a brand? When you, right? Like,
absolutely.
If I were to launch a product, I'm just trying to give ideas for people out there. If I were to launch a product, what product would you want to see me launch? Mm-hmm. I mean, how amazing. I might even do that for my social media.
I think so.
What a great thing to do.
Absolutely.
They're your customers. They're your people.
100%. I mean, I think, even as a company, like sometimes your personal account can perform better than the company's account because people want to feel connected to you. They appreciate vulnerability, I think when you share more of yourself with the world, then the world comes back and wants to usher and support you, in your future success.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even with this podcast, Life Masters, I had and I still do, I have an Instagram page and that. I only have 250 followers on it because I have not done anything with it because everybody's going to my personal one. Yeah. It's weird making that. And then months ago I stopped. So I probably might even take it down. And I had a Facebook page. I'm thinking, why am I doing this? People just want to know how it relates to you.
Yep.
100%. So that's a huge lesson out there. So you can launch a product on your personal pages.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I want to talk about what would you say is one of your most special moments of presenting a diamond to one of your clients? I can't even imagine the hundreds of stories you have.
Literally. Yeah. I mean, at this point, we've made over 500 diamonds, and behind every single diamond is just an unbelievable story. Because you're not going to do a diamond for somebody that wasn't one of the most important connections in your life and just a really special and remarkable person. And, so, I mean, even just from the beginning, my team all the time, people will say, how do you do what you do? And you must hear such hard stories. I'm like, no, I go home every night and think about how, these people treated each other, I'll call my mom more because, I'll hear a daughter's.
This is so great.
It's just you learn, it's a blueprint for how to live a better life, just told by these remarkable people. And, so it's uplifting and super inspiring. And, but yeah, I like that. What we call it, the homecoming, is the day that their diamond comes home. And it's by far and out the most special day. And, you think about the customer, they've had this journey, that it's taken time and they enjoy that process. Many kind of compare it to having a child. It's that it takes time for them to transform into their new state. And so they all of this excitement and anticipation has been built. The day that their diamond comes home, there's anxiety. There's, you know, just like, oh my God, like, how am I going to feel? What Pandora box of emotion is going to be opened when I see their diamond for the first time? And then when they open their diamond, it's just like, so many of them have described this. It's a wash of just calm and peace and closure and, you know, gratitude and just to get to like be there that day and get to see those emotions and see that you've helped usher them into kind of a next chapter, you know, in relationship with their loved one is just the most like special and, remarkable experience. And I think all the time about, you know, if for any reason I were to pass away, you know, tomorrow, I feel like, you know, I've done what I want to do, just getting to be present on just a handful of homecomings. You know, when we have them in Texas, our team like fights over who gets to drive and like do it in person. Like it's just,
yeah, I'm sure.
it's so great.
So I love the fact that you, at such a young age, feel like you've really found your purpose. You're really, really changing lives and helping people in a way that like, it's just so out there and amazing and not too out there because so for example, like my mom, right? She wants to be cremated.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and every time we talk about it, she hates talking about it. I'm like, she's in her 70s. She's like 73. And I was thinking, Mom, what do you want me to do with your, like, no, I don't want you cremated. I want to be able to go visit you. She's like, I don't know, go and spread them all over Hawaii or something. And I'm thinking, no, I don't even, what are you talking about? You know, so we've never actually finished the conversation.
Yep.
And I'm thinking here going, I'm going to present this to her, and you can present it to somebody in a sentence, not a whole story where you got to keep on talking about the subject. Where it's like uncomfortable. Right?
Totally. I think what a lot of people don't realize that you're totally hitting on is like, it's not always about what you want. You know, like you're going to be gone. It's about the people who are left behind in the wake of loss and like what is going to help them, you know, just process you not being there. And so, you know, we've certainly seen that with our customers where men will do this all the time where they'll be like, oh, I don't know, just like put me in a box and, you know, in a ditch somewhere, don't do anything special. And you're like, that's not helpful to someone's grieving process, you know, like they want to do the diamond for you because they want to have a piece of you with them and be able to take that on, you know, their future adventures. But then they'll feel conflicted, you know, well, that wasn't his wish. So what do I do? And, you know, so I think that's an important message, I think, for anybody to hear is like just thinking about what your loved ones might need and giving them the opportunity to do what is going to help them.
So I'm just asking like questions, just like questions here about how the process. So when somebody passes and they have their ashes, like how volume wise, you said it's a half a cup per diamond. If you want a bigger diamond, do you need more?
So actually from half a cup, we could do up to like 5 diamonds. There is more than enough carbon to do multiple diamonds from half a cup. We often return ashes at the end. So we're always conservative, wanting to make sure we have more than what we need. And then we return any we don't use. And
the size of the diamond?
We can go up to 3 carats. So
okay, wow.
Nice size. Yep.
Does it take longer in time to create a larger diamond?
It will, yeah. So it takes a bit more time to go as big as it gets. So
right, you just need a half a cup. So when somebody passes, like how much volume wise? I mean, I have an idea from
relatively. Yeah,
like 2 cups you usually get from one person.
No, I mean, you're looking at like 8 to 10 cups. So it's a really small amount of what you're normally getting. So you can go spread in Hawaii and just save a little bit to do a process like this.
Or you can get 40 diamonds or whatever you want.
People are like, how many diamonds can I make? I'm like, more than you could afford, I'm sure.
Right. No, but I like that. I like you have choice. And that's what's so great about it.
We could do this from hair as well. So if customers decide to bury their loved one, they just need to save a healthy handful of hair or fur. And we can do
Glad we talked about that.
Yep.
Because there's situations when people die where, you know, sometimes the kids or people that love that person will not have access to those ashes because somebody who's in charge will not allow access to those ashes. So
100%.
Go and take their brush right now and get their hair.
It's so true.
When I go to Canada, that's what I'm doing. All of my family members.
Yeah, exactly. Dashes of hair.
Makes
Someone
them up.
out of context, like, well,
Yeah. So like, how did this all begin for you? Like, how did this, I mean, let's go way back. How
Yeah.
were you raised as
Mhm.
a child? Like, because you just seem so like a go-getter. I mean, you're literally an Inc. magazine and Forbes magazine, 30 under. That is a massively huge accomplishment. And where do you think it comes from? From your upbringing? Do you think it's nature versus nurture? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't know where I get all of my drive from, but I come from
Always
a
there?
yeah, for sure, definitely. But I do come from a family of a lot of enterprising ladies. My mom's an entrepreneur. My grandma and my aunt are both famous actresses. Like my grandma, when she was like 17, moved, or probably younger actually, I think she's like 15. And this is like in the 20s, moved from California to New York to pursue a Broadway career and, you know, basically raised two kids remotely, you know, being the breadwinner that was making money from, you know, Broadway and Hollywood, like job to job. And, you know, you just, there are a lot of just really impressive women. And I think that was something that I was just really grateful and blessed to get to kind of witness, especially as a female, you know, as
Yeah.
confident trailblazing women that are just kind of owning their destiny and
Amazing.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
then you said your aunt is a big time actress too.
She is, yes, Ann Archer, if you're familiar. She was in
Oh,
Good.
yes, of course. Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we love Ann Archer. Incredible. I love that. So, but so you're obviously close to her and you're close to your grandmother.
Mhm.
So what about them did you see in them that was just one of your most admirable qualities that you found towards them?
Yeah, and I'd group my mom in there too. I mean, I think all of them
Yeah.
just they knew, they were clear on like what they wanted to be, you know, and they figured that out, and then they made sure that they didn't lose that, you know, that part of themselves. They were all you know, they all became mothers, they all cared for their families, but they never let go of their dreams, and they pursued them in full, and I just think that was, I'm really proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, because that can affect marriages.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
in their, you know, in their generation. And
Yeah.
was that hard for them, like just sticking to their guns and trying to be a mom and be a wife? I mean, it was really hard in those days,
I
especially
mean,
your grandmother.
I just read my grandmother's, she wrote an autobiography, and I can't believe I hadn't read it, you know, till
Amazing.
a few weeks ago. And I was just, yeah, like I was like crying on the couch, just like, oh my gosh, listening to the things that she went through, and, you know, you know, she was really bucking a lot of tradition at the time.
Yeah.
It was just so amazing and inspiring.
So they must all be so proud of you, like so proud of you, right? Yeah.
That
What are family gatherings like? Super fun.
Yeah, I mean, Eternum is always a very fun topic to talk about. You know, it's like,
Yeah, of
it
course.
is fascinating. It's the perfect
Wow.
Thanksgiving dinner table conversation.
I know, right? So
Yeah.
what would you say is your biggest accomplishment at this point?
Oh gosh.
Like, is it being in magazines like Inc. and Forbes 30 over 30, under 30, or is it, you know, working with Mark Cuban? None of that.
I mean, yeah, like we're super grateful for all of the, you know, press and accolades and all of that that's come. But I think all of that really is just more of a byproduct of doing something that it really is special, you know, and is a real change that you're trying to drive in the world, and it comes from an authentic place, and it comes from, and that would be what I'm most proud of, is, you know, getting to share this journey with my team, and you know, really getting to see the direct way that we're making lives better, and the conversations we're changing, and the stigmas that we're breaking, and, you know, the impact we're having in death care and funerals, and being the
Yeah.
first like death care company to make, you know, major magazines and PR headlines, and I think all of that is just like, that's what's so rewarding and fulfilling, because you're like, you know, that these are changes that really need to happen in the world, and it's just special to get to be a part of that. And, you know, even if it's just a small part at this phase, I think that that's what's most fulfilling and most rewarding, and getting to share that with so many, of my team and our customer base. Like, we call it the turn of a family, because it truly is, like we are a tribe and a family, and get to share all of those successes together.
Nice. So what would you say to people out there that are under 30 that are really struggling to find their place in this world, and business wise? And I mean, it's hard to, I don't know how people, millennials and, even people younger than that can afford to buy a home these days. And it's tough. It's hard to make money. They're scrambling. A lot of my friends, their kids are moving back in the house with them because they're struggling. I'm sure a lot of your friends are too.
Yeah.
And what do you say to people like that?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, and gosh, I've been there. Like, I had a really, I would say probably the hardest phase of my life was really, shifting from being a college student to being a working professional. Because I always say that I'm a recovering perfectionist, and recovering is a huge key word, because, it's a really difficult pattern you can get yourself stuck in. And, when you start to feel like, you just, like, when you have anxiety around performance, or, just kind of getting stuck in that cycle, it can be really hard to break. So I have a lot of empathy, and I've been there. I mean, I've had some very difficult and dark years in my early 20s, working through all of that. But I think, my message to my younger self, at least, would be, and hopefully this resonates with some people, is don't be so hard on yourself. Know that you have time, you have a lifetime. And I think when you're young, like, you put so much pressure on yourself, and you feel like I've got to figure this out. I've got to make it. and you just feel so much, anxiety around figuring it out by like 23 or 24 or 25. And, you're forgetting that you actually have a whole lifetime ahead of you.
A whole lifetime.
Lifetime. And so I think it's allowing yourself to release that pressure valve a bit. And I've enjoyed getting older, because I feel like I've definitely, chilled out. And but yeah, you have time, enjoy the journey. Perfect is the enemy of progress. Just pride yourself on putting one foot in front of the other, and like, what are those small wins of, like, how can I just show up today? And if I showed up today and I did my best, like, that's the part that I should be happy and proud of and satisfied with, and know that over the lifetime, like, that's going to compound into great change. You may not feel it necessarily on a day-to-day basis, but if you keep doing the work, you're going to look back in a couple of years and be like, wow, I'm in a completely different place. You know?
It's very true. Yeah. So true. I love how you said, perfect is the enemy of progress.
So true.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I just think that's amazing. So tell me now, where can I know that you do public speaking. I know you speak. You really are an inspiration for so many, and a visionary. And honestly, the things that you're teaching people now, especially at this time, is you're helping people in so many ways, not just about turning ashes into diamonds, but you're also helping people have the confidence and courage to start a company, to be an entrepreneur, and not be so afraid of it. And yes, you're young, but still, everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very interesting. Somebody like me, I'm turning 50 in like 2 years. And, when I hear my friends that are your age going, I feel like I'm getting so old, I'm thinking, you have a lifetime ahead of you. You just don't know it yet. Yeah. And I don't know why they don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when they're bridging 30. Why does 30 seem so old to them? What is that?
It's a great question. I mean, I don't feel that way personally. I'm 29 right now, so I'm going to be 30 end of this year. And yeah, I mean, I think
you've heard them say that though, right? Like, your friends must be saying, oh my God, my 30th birthday, I'm so old. I'm getting old. My life is over. Like, literally they'll say things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's like getting stuck in kind of the traditional pattern, right? Of like what's expected of you. You're supposed to get a job, and then you're supposed to get married, and then you're supposed to have kids. And like, when you're, subjecting yourself to like that framework, well, you're behind if by 30 you're not married, and you are not planning to have kids in the next 3 years. And, then you think you're getting old because like you haven't hit these miles. It's just, to your point, you're going to probably live to like 80 or 90. So like, chill out.
It's true. Some of my friends are bridging 50 and going, we haven't had kids yet. I haven't been married yet. I'm not successful in my career. I don't know what I'm doing. I got to start over again. Like it's a lot harder when you're like 30 years older than 30.
So true. Yeah.
And looking back, just like you, I love your advice saying, you have your whole life ahead of you. There are people that are in your position way older than you, and it is a million times more difficult to go through it then. So just be easy on yourself and just
100%.
Calm down. You're not old.
It's so true. I mean, I admire people who are in their 50s and 60s that are like, you know what? I'm just going to do something totally different, you know? And they do it, and you're just like, yeah, like just be open to life will bring you interesting things to work on if you're open to it. If you get to know who you are and you like really know yourself and what you're good at, and then you just go and figure out like, what are the things that get me excited and I'm passionate about? Like, you'll be surprised if you're listening. You'll be like, okay, that might be a door and that might be a door, and just go step through the door and see what's there, you know?
Yeah, I think what holds people back too is not getting paid for it at first when you're trying to build something. That's the biggest thing, especially when they're already, they got kids.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
It's much harder, but still, you have to find that thing where you can do that time that allows you to do it. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, just do something where you can put some time into it. And, you know, my mom started over when she was 50. She started painting, and she's now now she's 73 and she's selling her work. She's a successful Canadian painter and sculptor. And she is a huge inspiration for me that, yes, no matter how old you are, there is time in which you can, just go do it. Just
100%.
Find what you love and do it. Reinvent yourself. And right now in quarantine is perfect time because we're being forced to figure it out.
My mom is doing the same thing. She's got really into singing, and so she's takes like vocal classes. She like actually wrote and recorded a couple songs. She's performing all over Santa Barbara. Like she's decided that she's gonna get a song that's gonna chart #1 on iTunes.
What's her name so we can all follow her?
Oh my gosh. Now it's her stage name.
I love this.
Glennis Archer. But then
Gladys Archer.
Glenys. Glennis Archer. Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me for forgetting what her name is. I'm like Googling it.
But you know what I love the most?
You on that?
Yeah, that's okay. You know what I love the most is that you're like, well, now it's this. Like that just says to me so much about your mom. I already love your mom. Okay, the fact that you can't remember it because she's changed her name probably a couple times trying to find the perfect thing.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's fantastic.
I'm calling it her third act. I'm just like, yes, I love
that's great.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
So where she's performing in Santa Barbara. Well, I'm sure that she'll pick up the performing and everything, in the future. Her goal currently is to release this song and have it chart #1 on iTunes. She's going big. Yay! This is phenomenal. Okay, if you guys want to know who, where to get in more information on her mom, they can message you on Instagram or something.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Who's your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's not a bad thing. It's actually really says a lot about your mom. She sounds amazing. And I love this. So, well, just, where can we learn more about you? Because I know you speak and you're all over social media. So tell me where we can learn more about you.
Thank you. I mean, definitely, I would say follow us on Instagram. That's, where all the cool kids are. And
not so much Facebook anymore. If that's where you old.
No, not at all. Really. Let's be real.
I love that.
If you haven't made the transition, go make the transition.
Go make it.
Part of having a growth mindset makes you technology adaptation. You got this. I believe in you. If you're feeling really bold, go to TikTok. I'm not there yet, so
neither am I.
Yeah, I just can't. It's tough.
I can't either. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and some of the stuff I see on there, I'm like, no.
I know.
No, it's not ready for her to see some of the stuff there. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but, that's
it's inevitable. Thing. But yeah, I mean, I would say definitely check me out on Instagram, Adelle Archer. It's ADELLE Archer, and Eternova, of course. And yeah, I mean, I think that's where I'll post most of the cool stuff that we're doing. And
it's on your Instagram page, right? Like all the stories and all your client stories. It's on your personal Instagram page.
That it would be on a Turnova's page.
It would be on a Turnova's page.
It would be on a Turnova's page. You definitely want to follow us there for sure.
But then you probably advertise for a Turnova on your personal one. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's like, go to one of them and then you can be directed in either. Follow the both. That's what I'm saying.
Follow the both, please.
All right. Awesome. I love this. Thanks so much for your time. This has been fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely, Tanya. I really appreciate it. And I love the focus on like real topics, because I think you're absolutely right. Like we all want to have real talk. So
yeah, I want people to walk away from this and actually have tools in which they can be like, you know what, I'm going to go try that. Or that's something I never thought of. Or I started Life Masters out of a passion project because I had hit hugely rock bottom. And no one was there for you when you're in your rock bottom. That's what it feels like. Nobody. So you got to go find out those tools and find out how to get out of it yourself. And
absolutely.
You know, so I decided to interview 100 people that hit rock bottom, and I decided that they're going to teach me, you know, the tools I need to get out, and it worked.
Absolutely. There's a really great storyteller, Ira Glass, and he talks about the gap, and it's the gap between, you know, where you are as a novice and, you know, doing really phenomenal, great work, and how, you know, it's very rare that people talk about that gap, but there's a massive gap that we all have, and we have to make it over that. And so the more that we can hear stories of other people's gaps and, you know, how they kind of progressed over that, I think is what we need to have a model for how we get there.
Oh, so true. We learn from other people's stories. We learn from other people's gaps. I've learned so much from your story. And again, reinvent yourself anytime, any age. You can do it. And can people contact you too? Like, do you work with people to reinvent themselves? And
I mean, I would just be happy to be helpful. So anybody that would love to reach out, I would love to be helpful.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you're doing, how you're changing people's lives and inspiring people. It really means a lot. So if you guys want to watch more episodes of Life Masters, make sure you check out, for now, my YouTube channel, Tanya Memme, MEMME channel. I also have about 45 of them up on iTunes right now. This will eventually be there too. And we're going to be releasing a blog, and we're going to be having this on other platforms as well. So check out all of my social media to keep updated on where those platforms are going to be very soon. But for now, it's on my YouTube channel. Check them out. And take home some tools and wisdom and golden nuggets of information to help you get through some of those tough times in life. So from me to you, mwah, and we are going to get through this together, aren't we, Adelle?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we'll be better for it on the other side.
Yes, we will. Lots of love to you all. Make sure that you check out Adelle's company, Eternova. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, Adelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You have just listened to another inspiring episode of Life Masters with Tanya Memme. To access the show notes for this episode or to listen to more shows, simply visit www.tanyamemme.com. Master your own life and be inspired to help others to succeed. Join us again next time here on Life Masters.